WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and joining us in this segment, I've got Brenda Heeman and Kate Servi, nurse practitioners with Springfield Clinic, Taylorville. Good morning to the both of you. How are we?
We're good. Thank you so much for having us.
Well, thank you for joining me here today. I'm doing well on this end. I do appreciate that. And we are going to start with, we're going to start with a lot here. The introduction to this, I'm glad Brenda's going to be taking us away on this. BHRT or HRT, those acronyms don't mean anything to us yet because Brenda's going to tell us. What have you got for us today?
So we're going to be talking about hormone replacement therapy. And then Kate is going to take it from here.
Yeah, so BHT stands for bioidentical hormone therapy. And basically, it just means that these are hormones that are chemically identical or very similar to what is made in the body. Hormones in general are agents of change in our body. So they're made from endocrine cells and they specialize in certain organs. So you have hormones in your adrenal gland, your pituitary gland, your pancreas, your ovaries, etc. So there's all kinds of hormones in your body. They circulate throughout your body and into the bloodstream, and they directly and indirectly affect every cell in our body. So they're very important. And this kind of leads into menopause, and there's actually 6,000 women a day who go into menopause. So this is a huge topic. And menopause is a natural process. It's a decline in communication in the endocrine system. So all those hormones start to not work quite right together. And so it's something that is a big topic, and many women experience a number of symptoms associated with the lack of hormones or the hormone shifts. The way that hormone therapy began was it started in the 1960s. It started with estrogen therapy, and they basically started it just for the vasomotor symptoms or the hot flashes and mood swings, insomnia that women were experiencing during menopause. And in that time, it was thought to help women remain feminine. And then in the 1970s, they figured out that there's a link between the unopposed estrogen and endometrial cancer. So then by 1980, they started combining both the estrogen and the progestin or progesterone. And they found that this lowered the risk of osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease. And so they used hormones quite a bit up until the early 2000s.
Okay.
So when we're talking about hormones, there's some clinical considerations that we really want to discuss with our women. Let's just talk about hormone imbalance. They can cause irregular cycles, mood changes, weight gain, acne, hair changes, low estrogen. Often have symptoms like daytime hot flashes for our menopausal women, irregular absent menstrual cycles, fatigue, low energy, decreased libido, bone loss, cognitive changes, and memory loss. Progesterone is another female women hormone, which can cause evening, night flashes, heavy or prolonged menstrual bleeding, sleep disturbances, increased risk for endometrial hyperplasia, difficulty conceiving, anxiety, new onset or no previous complications of anxiety. And then low testosterone, sometimes we feel that that's just for men, but women also make a lower dose of testosterone, and women can have decreased libido, fatigue, decreased stamina, muscle loss, mood changes, depression, decreased motivation, and cognitive dullness. A lot of these causes can be worsened by chronic stress, obesity, environmental toxins, pregnancy, lactation, menopause, and of course, perimenopause.
Okay. So when it comes to, and look at me right off the top, we had just talked about flipping the script, and then I did just that, but we'll forget about that part. You mentioned, Kate, in your piece there, it started in the 1960s, kind of moved to something different in the 70s and 80s, and then they kind of stopped by the 2000s. Mm-hmm. Is that still the case, that hormone therapy is not really as used?
Well, it's starting to make a comeback, and it actually all kind of started in the early 2000s. There was a women's health initiative, and there were several flaws with this that actually scared a lot of providers into not giving hormones anymore. So we went from giving them to a lot of women to giving them to virtually none.
Okay.
And so some of the issues that were involved in the study, is the best age to really initiate hormone replacement therapy is under the age of 60 and within 10 years of menopause. And the average age of menopause is about 53. And so in the study, in the Women's Health Initiative, the average age was 63. So they were already older than they really should have been to be starting hormone replacement therapy. They also did not address confounding factors such as advanced age, smoking status, or chronic illness. And the adverse effects that were seen were only in the older patients, so greater than age 60. And actually, in the study, 97.5% of the women involved in it had no adverse outcomes at all. So they took the outcomes, the ones that had the bad outcomes, and kind of classified it across women of all health statuses and of all ages. And it wasn't exactly accurate. They also only used one class of hormones. They used conjugated equine estrogen instead of bioidentical estrogen or estradiol. And they also used synthetic progestin, which is a synthetic version of progesterone. And so really the data from the Women's Health Initiative can't be extrapolated to other hormone regimens. And so we are starting to see a shift back into wanting to help women through this phase with the hormones. But really the evidence shows that bioidentical is definitely more beneficial than the synthetic versions of the hormones.
Okay, and I wanted to ask, because that brought us to our next point there, as you laid out for us, but was just interested to know why that declined and then why now it's kind of picking back up. But totally makes sense. We've got some more better evidence and we've got better things to back up what we are doing. Now, when it comes to hormone pharmacology, we just turn it right back to Brenda when it comes to that.
Absolutely. So we currently use estrogen in our body. So there's several different types of estrogen. We have type 2 estrogen, estradiol, which is the most common in women. It maintains bone density. It regulates our cycles. We have prevention of urinary tract infections. It influences our mood, cognition. Too much can lead to endometriosis and estrogen sensitive cancers, but it's used in hormone replacement and found in birth control. We have E1, which is estrone. It's the weaker form of estrogen, mostly found in a menopause. And so that's why we need to replace that E2 if women are having symptoms. E3 is the weakest form of estrogen and mainly found in pregnancy. Progesterone is what we use in conjunction with estrogen to help prevent neuroprotection and prevent cancers and help reduce the risk factors for other complications based on the estrogen. It's neuroprotective, it's mood stabilizing, it works well with estrogen and helping with bone health and lipid health. And then we have testosterone. We don't want to leave that behind, but it helps with muscle maintenance, metabolism, cognitive function, and cardiovascular health. Then we have other hormones, DHEA, cortisol, thyroid hormones. They all play an important role and are impacted by stress, immunity, energy, and balance.
Okay, and I'm definitely trying to make sure we have enough time to get through all of this, and we're doing all right now. But when it comes to, we're not just talking estrogen and the forms of estrogen. There are other hormones that go into this piece as well. Kate, what about, because you talked a little bit about synthetic hormones and then actual true, like I think you said bioidentified hormones as well. What are the differences maybe between those two?
So in general, you want to use bioidentical hormones because the body recognizes them. In general, if you're going to be on estrogen replacement therapy, oral is not recommended. Typically, we recommend to use transdermal estrogen. It will also provide systemic effects, and we usually start with a low dose on it and then go up from there. Progesterone, same thing. When we looked at the Women's Health Study and the increased risk of breast cancer, it was seen using synthetic progestin, but actually oral micronized progesterone can be used and it actually reduces the risk of breast cancer. The two are different. And so when we talk about bioidentical versus not, synthetic progestin, if you look at the molecular structure, which I won't bore you with all of that, it looks entirely different than progesterone. And actually, you can give progesterone to somebody who's pregnant, but you cannot give progestin because it's toxic. So So they are not used interchangeably. And so when we use oral micronized progesterone, we usually start with 100 milligrams and start it at bedtime, and it can usually help with some of the insomnia that women experience through menopause. We also use testosterone, and typically we want to use more of like a transdermal preparation as well, whether it's a patch or a gel. You can also use sub-Q or IM. Pellets are becoming more popular, and a lot of women are starting to have these implanted. The only big problem with pellets is they give you a really high dose of testosterone from the get-go. And so they can supersaturate the hormone receptors. And eventually over time, if you use them long-term, they can quit working for you. So those aren't my favorite. DHEA also is one that we can use, and that is given either orally or transdermally. The idea is to trickle in hormones just like your body would. So you don't want to do large doses. You don't want it to be extreme. You just kind of want to trickle in and mimic what the body would naturally do.
Okay. And so the bioidentical ones then do a better job of actually taking, or your body does a better job of taking those on even. But also, you mentioned even sometimes they can be toxic compared to at certain times. There's a lot to unpack here, but we have got to take ourselves a break so that we can continue to do some unpacking. We're joined by Brenda Heeman and Kate Serbine, nurse practitioners with Springfield Clinic, Taylorville. We'll come back around and we'll talk more with them about BHRT, HRT, and how this all kind of works and plays into your health. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Your information station. WTIM.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Two-sided trade with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. March corn, 446 1/4, up 1.5. May corn, up 1.5, 453 3/4. December new crop, 464 1/2, up 1/4. January beans down 8 3/4, 1096 1/2. March beans down 8, 1108, and November new crop $11 3/4, down 3 1/4. March wheat, 536 1/2, up 3/4. May wheat up 1/2 penny, 543 1/2. January bean meal, 305.10, down 230. January bean oil, 51.50, down 19 cents. Livestock trade, January feeders down 310, 335.95. December live cattle up 17 cents, 227.32. December lean hogs up 15 cents, 81.80. Energy market, January crude oil, 59.20, down 88 cents. RFD Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Brenda Elder, Executive Director of the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation. If you're looking to grow your business, we're here to help. From supporting our local businesses to attracting new investment, everything we do is focused on building a brighter future for Shelby County. We sponsor job fairs to connect local talent with great employers and inspire entrepreneurs through the Shelby County CEO program. Click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Shelby County Economic Development, growing business, growing community.
This is Bill Pinkston, General Sales Manager at Landmark of Taylorville. It's that time of year again. Whether you're needing that year-end tax write-off or just wanting a shiny new vehicle to take to Grandma's for Christmas, visit us at Landmark of Taylorville, Chevy, Buick, GMC. We have all the remaining 25 models priced to go and a great selection of 26 models already on the lot. Plus, with over 400 pre-owned vehicles in our family dealerships and our lifetime powertrain warranty, why would you buy anywhere else? From our family to yours, have a safe and Merry Christmas. And remember,
You always do better at Landmark.
This holiday season, the wait is over. Southern Ledge Pools and Patios in Taylorville is celebrating with an exclusive 10% off on in-stock store items, excluding hot tubs. From skinny syrups, spices, and floats to so much more, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. And the best part, our Aspen hot tubs have arrived. Experience superior quality and innovation for a spa experience like no other. While you're here, pick up a gift certificate for that special someone. Southern Ledge Pools and Patios, where great gifts and relaxation meet.
Greg Frost, owner of G. Frost Insurance Advisors, Taylorville, can optimize your Medicare plan and save you money during Medicare annual enrollment. Find out more by clicking their icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
At First National Bank in Taylorville, switching banks isn't a hassle. It's a fresh start, made easy by real people who care. With nearly 70 years of trusted service, they're the first community bank that's not going anywhere. Find out why they've been first every time for over 70 years by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station and brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us in this segment, I've got Brenda Heeman and Kate Serby, nurse practitioners with Springfield Clinic, Taylorville. We've been talking about hormone replacement therapy, and one thing we also want to double down on is just integrating certain other parts with your health and wellness, that being supplements. What can you tell us about supplement integration?
So really the supplements help enhance hormone absorption. They help with your metabolism and they can help with your overall health. Some of the key supplements that we use on a consistent basis is magnesium. Magnesium helps with bone mineralization, strength, and it can also help reduce stress. Zinc can also help with immunity and thyroid function. B-complex vitamins help role in estrogen detoxification, mood, and cognitive support. Vitamin D3 helps with bone health, immune support, and energy. Omega-3 fatty acids are cardiovascular help, reduce triglycerides, and are very anti-inflammatory. Melatonin has been used with sleep and hormone synergy. And then we love probiotics for gut health, and they can influence our hormone metabolism. I think that the supplements and timing makes a difference. So timing of supplements, vitamin D, take with a fat-containing meal for best absorption. Magnesium glycinate or L-threonine, take at bedtime as help with relaxation and can improve sleep. Omegas, take with a meal to help with absorption. Vitamin B, take to boost energy. Vitamin E, take with fat-containing meal to help absorption. Probiotics, best taken on an empty stomach, and zinc on empty stomachs or with a light meal if you have GI symptoms. Just remember, with any over-the-counter medications, you really want that quality assurance and third-party testing. And then let's talk about monitoring and safety.
Sure, please do.
Yeah, so there's a lot of risks and benefits associated with hormone replacement therapy. And quite honestly, there's more benefits than risk if you're using the bioidentical hormones. And just kind of to lead off, hormone replacement therapy is highly effective, but it's also important to understand that it's very individualized to the person. And so lifestyle plays a big role, as well as family history and risks that they have genetically. So it's just one piece of the puzzle. But some of the benefits that hormone replacement therapy can offer is if it's initiated in women younger than 60 and within 10 years of menopause, it can significantly decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease. Actually, cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death among women, greater than breast cancer. And so when we're looking at risks, we really want to decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease. It also has a beneficial effect on the skin. It can increase thickness and elasticity. It can boost collagen. It can also help our hair to be thicker and promote less hair loss during the menopausal years. It also has a positive effect on vision. So there's less risk of cataracts, as well as less ocular pressure. So that goes along with like glaucoma. There's less risk of macular degeneration. It also significantly reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes and dementia, and has the same effects as antidepressants and can help enhance mood and depression. So then, those are all the benefits, and there's also some risk, but in general, it's pretty safe for women who are less than 60 and within that 10 years from menopause. There is, everybody is really concerned about hormone replacement therapy and breast cancer risk, but honestly, it depends on the type of hormone therapy you're using. So we've already talked about the synthetic versus bioidentical. It also depends on how long you're using it, prior exposures, genetic risks. And so there's a lot of factors that go into the risk for breast cancer. Systemic hormone therapy is generally not advised, but you can use it topically and locally in survivors of breast cancer. And of course, breast cancer screening is advised for all postmenopausal women. Progesterone, the oral micronized, reduces the risk of breast cancer. And so if you're using the progestin, that can increase the risk of breast cancer, actually. And that's what the studies are showing.
Okay. Kate, I apologize. I had to cut you short here because we have run out of time. But this is one of those rare instances where, not rare, I should say, but this is one of those instances we need more time to really be able to dive into this. But I do want to thank you both for joining me here today.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Thank you.
Of course,
appreciate
Kate Servi and Brenda Heeman, nurse practitioners with Springfield Clinic Taylorville, telling us about hormone replacement therapy. And we might have to have them come back on to tell us more. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.